Okay, this is the Beelink SER8 Wi-Fi and Bluetooth test. I'm going to go ahead and get to some sort of testing of the Beelink SER8 Wi-Fi, like formal recording-wise. And this is going to be a bit tricky because I don't have the best way of doing this, but I got a way. All right. First of all, I got a Bluetooth speaker here that's connected. So first and foremost, speaker plays. I can hear music, and I guess we'll go ahead and see how far away I can get away with the speaker. And just for clarification, I have the Intel Wi-Fi AX200 wireless card, and this thing is connected to, well, the building's Wi-Fi mesh system. So here's the speaker. We're gonna just head out this door here, put ourselves a giant wall between ourselves and the Beelink SER8. Okay. Right here, this is about 25 to 30 feet, okay? And we got a giant wall, a lot of metal, and random stuff in between ourselves and the SER8. And I'm gonna keep going. Okay, right about at this door, this is something like 50 to 60 feet. And as you can see, I got a lot of metal, stands, woods, barriers, and everything between this speaker and the Beelink SER8. Contrary to popular belief, the Beelink SER8 is not inside a Faraday cage. The bottom of the case is... Ooh, there we go. We're getting to about 70 feet, and the speaker is starting to cut out. Right about here would be about 75 feet. We're inside a metal staircase at the moment. Okay, metal staircase. And if I go all the way down here, and the Bluetooth speaker is seriously cutting out about 80 feet. So about 75 to 80 feet is about the Bluetooth range of the speakers. And that's putting a giant stone wall and lots of metal and barriers blocking that wireless signal. In a straight on range test, this wireless signal should be able to get closer to about 100 feet. Hypothetically, I'm not really gonna go set up a whole straight line in this building because I don't exactly have that space. But, well, welcome to the lab. Alright, so Bluetooth with a Beelink SER8, a Intel AX200 wireless card, seems to be working fine. There is some things that I should clarify. This is Bluetooth 5, okay? If you have Bluetooth 4, your range considerably drops, like by half. I've tried Nintendo Joy-Con, like those Nintendo Switch little handheld controllers with Bluetooth 4. I could only get to about 25 to 30 feet while still maintaining some sort of connection. Okay, so the Bluetooth is not infinite, and we can go ahead and run a Wi-Fi test here. This is running on the building's exquisite internet, and I'm going to switch to Rocinante, which will be later, which is my DIY router that's kind of running the system. But let's go ahead and run an internet speed test. There we go. The internet speed here is about 200 megabits per second, okay? I'm getting a little bit more than that just my router here, the TP-Link S4 Deco, is right over here, and it's got a wired connection all the way back to the router. It's got a very good connection. That's about all I can say. So it's about 230. I might have a 225 internet speed plan. So the download speed is very fast. Great. It's not like 1,000 or whatever, but it's what I could afford. here. So, all right. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and, at least with this, we know that the Wi-Fi is good. It works. So anybody who says the Beelink SER8 has bad Wi-Fi, they have a special case. It's because under ideal conditions, with my router, I got a really good Wi-Fi connection. Look at that, even 8 milliseconds of latency. That's really good for Wi-Fi. Now then, I'm going to switch over to Rocinante. And let me show you what Rocinante is. Rocinante over here is, ta-da, this Beelink SER6 as a DIY router. It's got the antennas, so if you have like a really kind of, I'm going to say junky router, okay? You don't have like a formal mesh or something. You have this kind of router where you've got antenna ears or some sort of wireless card or something that's bumping everything off. I'm going to go ahead and test Rocinante's wireless signal. We're also getting about 230. So it has a very good connection over to the TP-Link. This is the Beelink SER6. It's just in a different case. It's got bigger antennas. Doesn't really need that because antenna pads on the SER8 also are good enough. So with that in mind, let's keep in mind over here, Wi-Fi is connected to the Rocinante. There is no Ethernet. I could connect to Ethernet, but there's no Ethernet. So the only way this Beelink SER8 is getting any internet connection is through the SER6 right here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and run an internet speed test. It's going to be a little bit lower than 230. There we go, 210, 215. Okay. Now this router is directly next to the SER8. It shows that, okay, it works. Now I can move this router here. It's running off of just a simple hotspot. I believe this should be working on a 5 gigahertz signal band, but I'm moving the router out to about, I want to say about 25 feet. And we're going to go ahead and test the signal one more time. And you can see that the internet speed has dropped significantly from about 220 to 130 or 128 here. And we'll find out what the latency is. There we go. 11 millisecond latency, 128. This is still a pretty good internet speed, by the way. Like, you need about 40 to watch in 4K, 60 hertz video. Okay, so this is plenty to watch 4K video, browse the internet, Wi-Fi, and actually a decent amount of different games will be fine with this. I don't know, some people might complain about Counter-Strike, but we're going to move this router even further away and see how that affects the wireless connectivity. So you saw 128, that's no walls or obstructions, about 25 feet. This is about 25 feet with obstruction. 25, 30 feet, yeah, something around that. All right, here we go. Run that speed test. So we were at 130 before. Now with a giant wall between my router and our router hotspot and the Beelink SER8, we can see that there's a significant download speed drop off. Okay, so the antenna pads inside the SER8 are not invincible. If you put enough stuff in between that and its router, and the router isn't particularly strong to begin with, by the way. This is just a very kind of passive or weak router kind of signal. This is what you would find like in a $20 or $30 router, okay? Real cheap. I mean, honestly, these antennas cost about $10. It's nothing premium, but you could see that if I put the machine directly next to the SER8, then it still works. Okay, let's see. We're about at 50 feet here. I'm going to go ahead and leave the router on the ground. It's okay. The machine's going to be fine. And, oh, at this distance, Let's make sure. Okay. You can still see that the SER6 with these antennas and the Wi-Fi mesh system that I got set up here with the TP-Link S4 decos, that internet connectivity throughout this building is really great. Okay? I'm not having any issue with Wi-Fi anywhere in this building. Okay? So, having established that, the router has a great connection. Now that router has to transfer all that data over to the SER8 by command. Let's see. Okay, we can see already there's a very weak signal with Rocinante over there. Yep, it's about at its limit for what it can handle. Now over here, I'm going to test the internet speed again. Barely hanging on, about 4 or 5 megabits per second. Okay? Ooh, we're getting up to 8. Sweet. This is just about good enough for 1080p video. And of course the upload speed is way better. Wow. Alright, so what can we establish from this? The Beelink SER8 Wi-Fi it's functional, but it's got limits. It's not infinite. And if I switch the system over to Exquisite Internet again, and this is back to over there with the actual router, and I test that internet speed again, boom, look at that, 200 to 15, it's just going up. It has the potential of a really good wireless connection. But, and big but, if you're using a weird router, okay, it might not work as intended. Okay, you see how weird my router is. That's essentially just a tablet with giant antennas sticking out of it. Now I love my SER6 DIY tablet thing here. I think this is fantastic, and I like to use it for debugging and troubleshooting. But yeah, a router isn't too much different from just a computer just trying to send a signal to another computer. Okay? So hopefully this gives some food for thought and information that the Beelink SER8 Wi-Fi isn't bad. Okay? I cannot stress this enough. It's not bad. It's functional. But under very specific conditions. You need a pretty good Wi-Fi system with a mesh system. That mesh system over there, one of those hub things costs, well, they come in 3 sets. It's about $100 for a Wi-Fi mesh thing. And I can connect it all throughout the building here. And that gives me a pretty good coverage. But the moment I switch to this thing, you can see that the Wi-Fi significantly drops down. I've tested this also with my phone. It's a Galaxy Z Flip 5. It's definitely not an old phone. It's a pretty bleeding edge phone, and it has a similar issue, a little bit less range even than this router. So if your device just cannot put out a strong enough signal to the SER8, the SER8 is going to very likely have some issues connecting to it. But here, this is the plastic bottom of the SER8. It's not metal. And there's a metal mesh that's oh goodness. It's a little bit closer to the front of the machine, but it doesn't extend all the way to the rear. It's just a partial mesh. Okay? So it's not a full Faraday cage. Definitely doesn't do it any favors for any like long-range connectivity. And I don't have a full like 10 gigabit Ethernet or internet or super fast gigabit internet plan to really test this Wi-Fi 6 wireless card out. But that's about the extent of the Intel AX200 wireless card. I did do some other tests with a Beelink GTR7. It has the same AX200 wireless card, and I found similar results with that as well. So, I don't know what other information I can give you guys, but I hope this helps provide some information to other people in troubleshooting their stuff. Wi-Fi works, Bluetooth works, it's not terrible, there are limits, it's not infinite. Alright, everybody, I wish you a wonderful evening.